You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K25, where myself, Mo Mooncey, alongside me as always, the three-time NBA champion. He ain't said it in a while, so I'll say it. Real name, no gimmicks. Mr. BJ Armstrong.
Yeah.
We ain't heard that one all season.
Yeah, well, just gotta, if you know, you know.
Hey, shout out to
And
the real ones that know.
yeah, it was another amazing, and I mean amazing night of NBA basketball.
Oh man.
Let's start with this Indiana game, this Indiana Milwaukee series.
Man, listen. Doc Rivers started a new starting five in this one. He went with
Yes.
Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent Jr., Bobby Portis, AJ Green, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? Sending Brook Lopez to the bench, Kyle Kuzma, Torian Prince coming off the bench. And they started off on an 11-0 run. And you thought, wow, the Bucks have really figured something out. And you thought that for the entirety of the game because the Bucks were up 7 with 39 seconds to go, right? At that point, statistically speaking, the Bucks had a 99.7% chance of winning the game. They were up 118 to 111. And this is why basketball is played in real life and not on the stat sheets. Because Gary Trent Jr., who once again finished with 33 points, he had 8 of 17 from three. He was on fire in the fourth quarter and in overtime. But in overtime, ultimately, he had a huge turnover. The Indiana Pacers defied the odds, came back and won the game. It was insane. Nemhard big time, Halliburton big time. Halliburton hit the game-winning shot. And what's crazy to me is Tyrese Halliburton this season has driven to his right hand 263 more times than he's ever driven to his left hand. So if he gets the ball and he puts it on the floor, he's going right. Giannis was
Mhm.
trying to shade him left, and he still managed to cross over, get back to his right, get to the lane, and win the game. And then after the final buzzer, the Bucks were eliminated 4 games to 1. And there was a few things that had to be said on the court between some of the players, between Tyrese Halliburton's dad and Giannis. I mean, it was getting a little bit heated. But what did you think about this game? Because it's heartbreaking for Milwaukee to lose this. They just lost Dame. They come with a new lineup. They played so well for 39 minutes and 30 seconds, and then it's all thrown away.
Well, their whole starting lineup played over like 44, 45 minutes, first of all.
Yeah.
And they laid it out on the line. And Doc Rivers, as he should, you play the guys that you trust, that you feel is going to be comfortable, and you lay it out there. So I give these guys that. I thought they played hard enough. I thought they played well enough to actually win this game and send this back
All stars in double figures.
to Milwaukee. However, the execution in these moments, right? And that's why you practice moments, game situations. You practice how to finish a game when you're up. You practice how to get the ball in bounds. You practice in-game situations so that when these moments arise, that you're prepared. It was just very unfortunate because they played well. I mean, Gary Trent, he played what, 48 minutes or something
Yep.
like that?
He didn't take any rest. Oh,
Yeah,
obviously overtime.
with overtime, yes.
48 minutes is
But
still
Mo,
shit.
he started out, he missed like his first, what, 7 threes or something like that. And he just catches fire.
8 of
Okay.
10 after if you
And
miss first second.
yeah, he was sensational. But they had a lapse in the last, what, 40 seconds? They just had a lapse
Gary
in the
Trent
last
Jr.
40
gives
seconds.
and he takes away.
The last 40 seconds of the game, they just had a total breakdown. Giannis, triple double. He just lays it
30,
out on the
20,
line.
13, 2 blocks, 2 steals.
Yeah, he
Unbelievable from
just
Giannis.
he just lays it out on the line. Bobby Portis, Kevin Porter Jr.
AJ Green, 6 of 10 from downtown in this one. He gave
Yeah,
him something.
I give those guys credit. I didn't expect much. I didn't know really what to expect from Milwaukee, but clearly they were ready to fight.
Yeah, you,
So,
you come into this
uh,
one, new lineup, you win
and
here, go back to Milwaukee
and
for game 6, win at home, and then game 7 is anyone's.
yes. So But let's now turn the page and go
Yeah.
to
Well,
Indiana.
I mean,
Indiana was phenomenal. I mean,
as they
what a
have been
what a
all
win.
series long.
Yeah, this kid McConnell. Okay,
18 off the bench.
yeah, he's your third backup. Okay,
Yeah.
you're getting 18 points from your third
Eighth man on
backup
the
point
roster.
guard. Yeah,
Give
yeah.
you 18 points.
I mean, what a nice job they've done there in Indiana with their depth, with the players, contributions. I think all five starters, scored in double figures.
Yep.
Then they
26
get 18.
Halliburton.
Yeah, Mathurin and these guys, Obi Toppin.
Hmm.
So they have a really nice team. Phenomenal win. If you left the game early, now this is why you don't leave the game. You
Never.
never know what you're gonna miss. So congratulations to the Indiana Pacers. And the Milwaukee Bucks are going to have a long offseason.
Oh, and
And there's some things they're going to have to figure out and see where they're going to go with this roster. But it
all the
was a
talk is
nice
going to be
win by
about
Indiana.
where Giannis is going to be traded to. That's all anyone's going to talk about all
So
summer
you
long.
think
It'll be
you
that
do?
and
What do you think, Mo? You think he's
LeBron
going to be
retirement.
traded?
I think you're in a tough position here because you don't have control of any of your draft picks. You've got 2 years left on Giannis's contract. He's in his prime and his prime's coming to an end, or theoretically it should. It's all dependent on him if he wants to stay in Milwaukee or if he wants to go and compete elsewhere because there aren't really many moves you can make with this roster. You don't have the assets, the draft picks to go out and acquire big name players. Dame is probably going to miss most of, if not all of next season. So next season might be a write-off. Then you're really looking at the internal development of guys. Can AJ Green step up? Can Kevin Porter Jr. step up? Can Jericho Sims step up? Is Kyle Kuzma with a full training camp going to be able to give you more than what he gave you this season in the playoffs? So you really have to have those conversations internally and look at it. But ultimately, if Giannis decides to tell Milwaukee, okay, cool, I've got 2 years left on my deal, I'm going to give you this time to find me a new home, then they're going to have to move him. They don't really have many options there. And it's just so unfortunate with Dame's injury, the knock-on effect that can have, because someone like Giannis, who won the championship in 2021, every single postseason since then for Milwaukee has been marred by injuries. Every single one, whether it was Drew Holiday, then Chris Middleton, then Giannis himself, now Damian Lillard. It's just bad luck because what they had in 2021 was a very well constructed team in terms of different guys contributing different things. And I think the real killer for it was ultimately trading away Drew Holiday because you lose what made your defense so dangerous by having one of the best interior defenders, two of the best interior defenders with Giannis and Brook Lopez. And then you lose one of the best perimeter defenders in Drew Holiday. And Dame Lillard does not offer, even when fully healthy, anything close to what Drew Holiday can offer you on a defensive side of the basketball. So this team may have run its course. I think New Orleans, our friend Joe Dumars, is the recipient of those picks from Milwaukee over the next few years. And they'll want to try and get those picks back, or they'll maybe want to do a deal with a team like Houston, who have got a lot of assets, and that'll be a nice situation for Giannis to go to, which is an elite defensive team, and he can help them with some of their offensive issues. There's a lot of options here, but ultimately you've got to have that conversation with Giannis and see where his head's at and where he wants to go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There will be a lot of activity, a lot of communication throughout the league to really, you want to gauge the temperature there in Milwaukee. So they have a lot of decisions to make, and Giannis is clearly one of the best players in the NBA.
Hmm.
Former back-to-back MVP. So
If he was to be traded, where would you like to see Giannis playing next season?
I think there's probably only a couple places.
Yeah, that would have the
Yeah,
picks and young players that Milwaukee would want in return if they're going to tear it
yeah,
down.
I would look at, I would probably say Houston probably
Hmm.
could do that, and I would probably say Brooklyn
Yep.
probably could do that. That just comes to mind immediately. Um, but I don't know. And I would also think that if the OKC Thunder, they could probably
Mm.
do whatever they want to do. They're probably positioned
Yeah,
to
with their
do
millions of
something
draft
like
picks.
picks and young players and figuring out what they want to do. So, but again, that just comes to mind. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but I would think just right off the top, those three teams would probably be somewhere at the top. I'm sure there are others if you look at it, but we'll see how it plays out. Who knows how this is going to work, but there will be a lot of speculation for sure.
BJ, I have a question for you. Do you happen to have $10,326 laying around anywhere?
I do not.
Well, there is one courtside seat left for game six in Detroit, and that is the get-in price. Can you believe 12 months ago, if someone told you that it would cost 10 bands to get courtside for a playoff game, six nonetheless, against the New York Knicks? Nobody on earth, except for maybe you, I think that that seat should be the BJ Armstrong seat
You
because you were
know,
the only one on earth who was a believer in his team when they were losing 28 straight games. That
yes.
one seat that's remaining that I can see on StubHub right now, that seat needs to go to Mr. B. Armstrong. Owners of the Pistons, if you're
I
listening.
appreciate you saying that, Bo, because I've stuck
Well, this is what
with our team.
the people listening don't know is the amount of times BJ's called me and I'm making jokes about his Pistons and he's telling me, no, Mo, trust me, they're going to be good. They're going to be good. I can see it. I can see it. And I'm laughing down the phone. And here we are 12 months later.
First, I want to say, hey, that was a phenomenal win.
Oh, I
Okay.
forgot to even tell the people. If you missed it, the Detroit Pistons
Yeah,
won
yeah,
106,
it's
103
for the
in
three.
Madison
Yes,
Square
it's just
Garden to
right.
force a
Yeah.
game six.
Okay. And Mo, I happen to, not only do I follow the team, I have friends who are there. So I was lucky enough to, get a friendly call after the game. So I'm really excited for this group because, Bo, it's been a long, hard fought, you know, year if it where they came from just a year ago. Okay. I can't wait to see what the building is going to look like. The building looked incredible there in New York, and now we're headed back to Detroit. And Mo, I think it's going to be sensational. Okay, I think it's going to be sensational in the building. When you say turn Mo, it's going to be Mo, and I'm thinking, Mo. I'm thinking about it, but I'm gonna tell you something. Even more exciting than that would be Game Seven in Madison Square
Oh,
Garden.
that's gonna be like
That-
20 bands
Hell yeah!
to get that checkbook out.
And you know what, Mo? I would pay just to see Game Seven. Okay, that would be because, Mo, the tension in the building would be
The competitive tension.
oh, the tension in the building. First of all, the tension for the home team.
Pressure.
Oh gosh.
The media talking. If
Yeah.
they let a 3-1 lead go.
Oh yeah. And so I would love that. I think it's going to be fantastic, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I think this is going to be an amazing, amazing game six. I
Yep.
really do.
Yep. Well,
And
speaking
I just want to see them play. I want to see Detroit play well. Detroit needs one of those games where they make a statement. One of those games.
yeah, they're yet to win at home in this playoff series.
Yes, that's
But
right.
speaking of amazing games, shout out to Asar Thompson, 8 of 10 from the field on his way to 22 points, 7 rebounds, and a couple of blocks in there for good measure. Cade led them with 24 points. Tobias Harris came up huge. There was a huge possession at the end where the Pistons almost threw the ball away. Tobias Harris managed to tip it and save the possession. Dennis Schroeder, double digits off the bench. Malik Beasley, double digits off the bench. And Schroeder icing those free throws down the stretch. Interesting for the Knicks, no one cracked 20 points thanks to that Detroit defense. Interesting also at the end of the game, Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson were waiting to check back in, but they didn't get an opportunity to check back in because there was no break in the play and Tibbs didn't call a timeout.
Hmm.
Very fascinating. There was a little instant where Jalen Brunson picked up an injury where when you watch the replay back, it's like the panel of the flooring kind of made him twist his ankle when he put his foot down. It kind of gave way, which was bad to see. He left the game for a little bit and then was trying to come back in. But shout out to the Pistons defense because they kept all of the Knicks players below 20 points. The highest score was OG with 19 points, and he hit a huge three down the stretch to almost win the game for New York.
Yeah, it was. I just can't say enough about how the games are being played right now, Mo. I mean, it's just beautiful. And again, shout out to the NBA. I saw the ratings and the numbers, Mo, for like the first 10, 11 games. How about that? How about that, Mo?
It's almost, BJ, it's almost as if they've been listening to the show all season.
Well, Mo, we're very humble over here. Someone's been listening.
I feel like maybe it's time to do away with the humble just for a moment, because when we have the president of basketball operations on this show telling us that he tunes in every day and is a fan of the show, telling us that he calls you to quote back what has been said on this show. The fact that I'm just a guy in England, but I've got the president of basketball operations of the NBA on the show saying, Mo, what's up, Mo? Like he knows me because he's been listening to the show for so long. I just think maybe it's good to be humble, but maybe I should start talking my ish. Maybe.
I've well, however it's getting done, the game is in a better place. And how do we know this, Mo? The people are watching. The people are watching. I mean, the ratings are like surging. They're like off the charts. So this is great. The tension is, it's incredible what has happened, and I love it. I just do. I love the games. The games tonight were fabulous. That third game or fourth game, your Celtics won big, but that Clippers game, Denver, wow.
Oh,
wow.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Any other thoughts on the Knicks and the Pistons? Because when the playoff series goes to a game 6 or a game 7, usually there's not too many adjustments you can make, right? Usually it's just now as the teams know each other so well, they're at maximum competitive tension, right? They all know each other's scouting reports, they all know each other's tendencies, they all know each other's game plans. What's the key for Detroit to go and win game 6 at home?
I think get up big early in this game. Just get up big. Just get up 10 where the Knicks have to make a choice. Because what you don't want to do is because you're literally playing every other day now, right?
Yeah. 48
what
hours.
you don't want to do, you have to make strategically, you have to say, if you're in New York, you got to win 1 out of 2. So the Pistons, the best chance for you to win 2 out of 2 is you got to get up big. You got to get up big in this game so that you're not so, you're so, out of it that you don't have enough energy to win a game 7. So to come out, you got to manage your emotions in game 6. You have to manage your emotions. You have to figure out how to get up big so that the Knicks will say, hey, I got to rest my guys. I can't wait. I can't waste time here in this game. So someone's got to play well for the Knicks. We need one of those unexpected contributions. You know what I mean, Mo? One of those where someone gives you like the kid. What was the kid for the Warriors last night? Gives you 20. What was that? I always mispronounce it. Pajemski. Yeah, I always mispronounce his name.
Yeah, I've seen the clip of Tony Allen calling him Bujovski or something like that.
Yeah. we need one of those type of. We know what Cade can do. Cade is special, but we need one of those efforts where you say, "Oh, okay, I didn't expect this."
Dennis Schroeder, give me 25.
Well, Dennis Schroeder's already done it. He's done it.
Give you 40.
Well, he's done it in this series. By the way, he's been fantastic for the Pistons.
Oh,
He's
the
been
veteran leadership
listen,
that he's a world
yeah,
champion after
yeah,
all.
he's been fantastic. Tobias Harris, their whole team, but they need one of those like from Durant or
Bullied.
something. Yeah, yeah,
Durham,
we
he
need.
he got
Yeah,
14 boards, only 9 points, six
yeah, we
assists
need
though.
we need like Durant to have like a 2020. We need one of
Oh,
those games. Yeah, we need something like that. So, but more than importantly, we need a win. I don't care how we get it, and then we can go back to New York, and then it's anybody's game.
the New York Knicks or the Pistons will try and advance, where the Boston Celtics will be waiting for them as they closed out their series 4 games to 1 in a convincing 120 to 89 win, where Jason Tatum looked like Jason Tatum again. 10 of 16 from the field, 4 of 5 from three, 11 from 11 from the free throw line on his way to 35 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. The Celtics caught fire in the third quarter, and then they just never looked back. They closed out the series as a reigning champion should. Al Horford just finished with 9 points, 4 of 5 from the field, but some very timely baskets in there. Jaylen Brown, 23 points, uh, then 10 each for Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench. They managed to get going just a little bit in what was a valiant effort. I know 4-1 looks like it was an easy series for the Celtics, but this was by no means an easy series. The Orlando Magic are building something really special down there with their guys, Franz, Paolo, when they get Suggs back for next season. I'm really excited to see the future of this Magic team.
Yeah, you have to give the Orlando Magic credit, and I like this team. I agree with you. I agree with you again. They got another guy, a starter who scored 0 points again, Corey Joseph.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't know. I don't know what's going
I
on.
don't know what's going on, but what makes me laugh about Corey, it feels like Corey Joseph has just been playing basketball forever. Do you know
Well,
what I
he
mean?
has.
Like
He
every
has,
time
and
they announce
he's
him in the starting lineup, I'm like, how is this guy still around?
yeah. He he
That's
he
Corey
he
Joe.
is. Yeah, Corey Joseph. But
Do you want to know
it,
fun facts about Corey Joseph?
yes, go ahead.
First NBA player to ever give Hoop Genius a shout out. This was in
Oh,
2018,
really?
I believe,
Really?
when I
Okay.
was a fresh-faced young man.
Okay.
So when he was on the Raptors, shout out to Corey Joe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So shout out to Corey, Canadian, right? He's from
Yeah,
Canada, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's Canadian, but I like what they're doing. I agree with you. Wagner, Bonchero, Wendell Carter, Caldwell Pope, get Suggs back in the mix. And I
And
like these
Anti
kids. I
Black as
like
well.
yeah, Anthony Black. I like what they're doing. Gary Harris and these guys. So I like what they're doing down there. And congratulations. They went through a lot. Bonchero missed a lot of games, due to
Then he
injury.
came back, and then Franz missed a lot of
Came
games.
back,
And
miss.
maybe the best backup big in the league, Mo Wagner, Franz's brother, he's
Yep.
also out for the whole season. He would have been a huge difference maker.
Yes.
So shout out to Orlando, man. Shout out to the Magic fans. I see what you
Yep.
guys have
Yep.
got going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have a chance down there. So I like what they're doing, and they won a game, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
that's good,
They were in
and we'll
all of the
see.
games except for tonight. The first 3 games,
So
first
the
4 games,
Celtics would take on the winner from the Detroit Knicks, right? Is
Detroit
that
Knicks. Yeah, and it's
Knicks?
going to be Indiana versus Cleveland.
That should be interesting.
That should get
Okay.
started on Sunday.
Okay. It should be interesting.
We'll do, no doubt, we'll do a preview for that. But let's talk about this one while we're here. The LA Clippers and the Denver Nuggets went for game
Mm,
number, what was that? Game 5.
right.
Game 5 in Denver, 131 to 115. The Denver Nuggets took the win with, monstrous performances from Nikola Jokic, even though, if I told you before the game that Jokic would have 13 points on 13 shots, you would say the Nuggets got beaten badly. But he had 13 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds, and Jamal Murray had the monster performance of 43 points in this one.
Right. Right. Right.
There have only been 4 duos to have a 40 plus point performance and a triple double in the same playoff game multiple times. Do you want to know who they
Got to
are?
be Magic. Was it Magic Johnson's got to be somewhere
No,
in there,
no,
right?
no, no, no.
He's not in there, huh? Okay.
Michael
Who you
Jordan and
got?
Scottie Pippen, of
Oh,
course.
wow. Okay.
Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. Obviously, that would be Kevin Durant with the 40 plus points and Draymond Green with a triple double. And the other one was Wilt Chamberlain. And can you guess his teammate?
Hal Greer,
No,
Billy Cunningham.
no. This is a very I don't know if many people would ever actually guess this name.
Okay, go ahead.
Tom Gola.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that one.
No one would have guessed that because he was born in 1933. So
Oh
this
wow.
was a real long time ago. I think this was during the 50s. Those are the only people who have accomplished that. The Denver Nuggets, I don't know what happened because yesterday we were talking about James Harden needs to show up. James Harden showed up and gave them 3 of 9 shooting, no 3 pointers made, on his way to 11 points. Kawhi Leonard finished with 20, but he didn't really kind of show up. The best player for the Clippers tonight was Ivica Zubac. He had 27 points, but he could only get 5 rebounds in this one. So, surprising night for the Clippers because we really thought the Clippers had the momentum considering everything that's happened so far in the series. But all 5 of the Nugget stars were in double figures, and our good friend Mr. Russell Westbrook came back and gave them 21
Yeah.
off the bench. How about that?
Yeah. In 25 minutes. I mean, what can
And
those that's what you need. When you if you're gonna win these games like that, you need that
you
type of
need,
contribution.
we might be the only podcast on Earth, maybe. I've not listened to every podcast on Earth. We might be the only ones who never turned our backs on Russell Westbrook. Never blamed him when things went wrong for the Lakers. Never criticized him unnecessarily because in games like this, toughness always shows up. This is what the stat
Yeah.
sheet won't tell you. Russell Westbrook, 8 of 15, 3 of 6 from downtown, 21 points off the bench. Okay. Bogdan Bogdanovic had his best game of the series, 18 points
Yes,
off
he
the
did.
Clippers bench. Shout out to him. However, it wasn't enough. So, shout out to Russell Westbrook. Huge win for the Nuggets. They're now up 3-2. They can go to LA for game 6. Can you see them closing out game 6? Because this is a team that won a championship just 2 years ago. They've got the DNA to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jokic, I mean, he has a triple double, and we're like, well, he only had 13 points. Okay.
4 of
So
13 from the field.
yeah, so you know Jokic is going to have a monster game. Okay.
But it's
So
tough for him because he's coaching and playing at the same time.
he's going to have a monster game. Okay. He's going to have a monster game. And I don't know if I can expect Russell Westbrook to get that type of effort. It's possible, but I'm not expecting him to get 21 points in 25 minutes. But Aaron Gordon was fantastic.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
He was seemed like he was everywhere. Michael Porter Jr. defensively, I like what he was doing out there. He was active. And when you say Jamal Murray, I've said this, he's the best player that hasn't been named an All-Star yet. Okay.
No,
And
but it's crazy because playoff Jamal Murray is so different to regular season Jamal Murray. I don't know if he's got like a clone that only comes out when it's playoff time or what he does, or how he does this, but he rises to the occasion when the team needs him most.
well, I can give you this. He's clutch. And you know what I love most about him is Jokic encourages him to be this way. And when he plays like this, they are really, really good.
Mm.
Okay. And I always love it when Jokic defers. I just think that's just such a unique perspective that he has about the game where he defers.
For a multiple time MVP.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
ain't
he'll
seen it
he'll do
like it.
he'll. I just think it has to be so much fun to play with him. So Jamal Murray had it going. I mean, he was what 17 or 26 or something from the field, 8 or 14 from three. He was super ultra aggressive. And when he plays like that, they're very difficult to beat. So, it's great to see, you'll get these type of performances from him time to time, but when he does show up like this, they're going to be tough to beat. Now, if there's one criticism that I have from this game is they scored like 130 some points tonight, but they never closed the game. They
Yeah.
never finished the game. They would get
I,
up big and
I was
then,
surprised when Tyronn Lue put his bench players in. I thought there was still time to maybe you hit a couple shots, get a
well,
stop or two.
yeah, again, that's what I was alluding to earlier with the New York Knicks. You got to make a decision as a coach because they got to win 2 games. He can't waste energy now.
Mm.
So you got to manage the energy of the game. So I get what Coach Lou was doing. You can't waste time, but Denver will let you back in the game.
Mm.
You just can't get down big. So if they don't get down big, they have a chance. But it's going to be I think it's going to be a competitive game there in LA, and we'll be watching.
Now, before we get to a preview of tonight's games, BJ, we're on episode 686, maybe. I don't know. I'm losing count. I'm going to ask you maybe the weirdest question I've ever asked you on this podcast because the internet has been ablaze with people trying to debate a topic, and it's not basketball related, but I have had numerous messages from people who are demanding to know your opinion on the following question. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Could 100 human men beat up one gorilla in a fight?
I'm gonna stay in my lane, Mo. I have no idea.
I don't know why the people want your opinion because I know that you ain't gonna answer it.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's it's out of my realm of
This is
expertise.
all anyone has spoken about for 3 days, and I will tell you guys for free that a gorilla will crush any man that tries to fight it. Come
Yeah,
on, guys. Let's not be stupid here.
I have no idea. I have no idea. But
Yeah. But
anything that I can learn, please let me know.
but the Golden State Warriors are going to try and crush the dreams of the Houston Rockets as they are up 3-1 heading back to Houston. You know, it's very tough for the Rockets. You know, this is their first run at things in the playoffs. We've spoken at length about their offensive issues. Defensively, Ime is still trying to play very aggressive defense with Stephen Curry, which works to some degree. But the gravity that he has on the court and the attention he commands, you saw in the last game, it lets other guys start to get going. I don't know what the game plan can be here for Houston, but it's going to be a real uphill battle in game 5.
Well, very simple. They have to play with the level of desperation that's going to be needed to win this game. And secondly, they're going to have to do it for 48 minutes. Okay. So it's very simple. Let's keep it simple. You have to play a complete game. There's no more room for error. There's no more talking about coulda, woulda, shoulda next game. They have to play well now, mistake-free basketball, and do it for the entire game, or it's over. Because Golden State, they know how to finish a series. So, but I know this: the Rockets will come out. They're going to compete, but they're going to have to play at a very high level, and it's going to be a tall task ahead of them. I expect them to win this game. Game 6 is going to be the game. Okay. I think that's going to be the game where you're going to say either they're going to do it or they're not, because they're going to have to figure out whether or not they want to go back to Golden State, win another game there, and then they had to finish it at home. So that's a big ask. So we'll see. We'll take it one game at a time, though.
If you're Ime Udoka, do you change your starting lineup? Because the minutes where you play Şengün and Steven Adams at the same time have been really productive for the Rockets in this series.
Well,
and the minutes where you play Şengün, Adams, and Jabari Smith Jr., because the Warriors are a very small team, and you play 3 bigs, because Jabari can shoot the 3 ball a little bit, he can move his feet a little bit on defense. When you play the 3 bigs, that lineup has had amazing results in the limited minutes that it's had.
You have options. So it's not like you have to if you could start a guy and you could bring it out, you can figure out how the game is played. So Coach Udoka has options, but they have to play better. They have to take care of the ball. They have to limit the Golden State Warriors to, one shot. They have to rebound the basketball. They have to play to their strengths.
They have to cut down on their turnovers, which is starting to become a signature of Ime Udoka's teams that face Golden State.
Yeah, so let's take it one step at a time. And but I like their options. I like their young team coming into the series, but they haven't executed very well if you look at the first 4 games.
From a psychological perspective, would you be trying to get under Draymond's green skin from early and try to get him in foul trouble, maybe try to get him out of there if you're the Houston Rockets, or are you just there trying to play your game?
No, they have to play their game. All of the that's a sideshow activity. I've been around long enough in the NBA. Say, that stuff is fun to talk about, but when it's all said and done, you got to win the game. So the gamesmanship that's being played here, anything you can do to get people distracted, you're looking for competitive advantages. Right now, I think Draymond is focused and understands his importance to his team. I would be very shocked and very surprised if Draymond takes his over the line. I think he's going to push it to the line, but he's very aware of what's needed here because this is a team that you don't want to play with. So
What's
we'll
funny
see.
is watching Draymond is he's more than happy to get that first technical foul because he knows the refs ain't trying to get him out of there with a second technical, and then he can really push the line. So shout out to him for establishing who he is with the referees, and they know what to expect. But now let me get your take. Game number 5, Minnesota Timberwolves, Los Angeles Lakers in LA. Are you going to head down for that one?
No, I'm not going to head down, but I will say this. I expect the Lakers to win this game. I don't think the Lakers want to lose in front of their home crowd. Okay. So I think if Minnesota has a chance, they're going to have to win it in game 6. So I expect crypto to be rocking and rolling. I expect LeBron and Luka, these guys to come out. But again, I don't know how they're going to respond. They played a lot of minutes in the last game, but I think it's going to be tough for Minnesota to come in there and win. It's not to say they can't do it, but I think it's going to be very tough.
Mm. And I hope they win for the first time ever. I'm hoping for a Lakers win because I'm dropping a project I've been working on for Luka Doncic on Instagram tomorrow. So go and check that out, guys. And if you can comment and show some love, that'd be greatly appreciated. Another night of the NBA playoffs has concluded, BJ. This is night number, 12 of the playoffs? It seems like it's been going on forever, but it's also been flying by. Yeah, another very fun night of basketball. I cannot wait for tomorrow's games. I believe you're going to be on the road somewhere. You've got to go take care
Yeah,
of
I'll
some
be on there.
business. So
Yeah. So we'll be in. But hey, we'll be watching and
you'll
let
be
me know.
back.
I'm around. I'm
Yes,
around.
sir. Yes, we'll be back at some point. But we're still going to be here. I'm going to be here. I think CT will be back in the house tomorrow, and we'll be breaking down everything that happens. We've got one matchup set for the semifinals: the Cavs and the Pacers. The Celtics and Thunder have booked their places there, and we're going to have to see if the Warriors and the Timberwolves can also join them tomorrow. Thank you guys for listening. BJ, appreciate you. It's always a pleasure to watch these games and talk about them, especially when the games are being played with this level of competitiveness and at this high level in the NBA playoffs. And it's 6:30 in the morning now. But I
You
just
get some
want to
rest.
say, I
Get some
just,
rest, and then you and I will talk tomorrow.
you know,
Let's,
um, I just want to say to the people listening, this is who we do this for. Shout out to you guys who tune in, those of you who have been with us from episode 1, those of you who are new to the party. Thank you guys for rocking with us the whole way. BJ, thank you for being here, and we'll be keeping this rolling as the NBA playoffs
absolutely.
continue to keep rolling. So until next time, subscribe to the show, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from. Most importantly, get buckets.